Well, good morning, guys. We're doing something a little different today, as usual. We do a variety of videos. We're canning sweet potatoes. Sweet potato fries, actually. I told a friend back several months ago that I was going to do this. He encouraged me, said he'd like to see me do a video about it, so here we go. Now, I dug around my sweet potatoes and I got out 6. I picked them out. I didn't pick out necessarily the size, but what I picked out was the ones that's already starting to sprout. Got them out of the box. One of them was a huge potato. It filled up 2 jars by itself. A couple of them were small. The rest of them are good sized potatoes. But I've got sprouts or slips off every one of them started over here. I cut one end of the other off that had the sprouts already starting. I've got to get mine started before too long, because I like putting my sweet potatoes out earlier than people do in Tennessee. I do things differently. We'll cover that at a later time. I do have 7-quart jars. All 7's got about the same size potatoes. Yeah, I'm cut them a little large. I know they got to cook for a while. I got to check my timing again, but what I'm down to now, since I've already peeled them and cut them up, got them in the jar. They're not packed, or I did jar them around a little bit. I did jar the jar. I did shake them a little bit and try to make sure the pockets was kind of tight in them. I didn't push on them or pack them, because it's never good when you do that. I've made a mistake of doing it before by accident, pushing a little too much, trying to get a little more in the jar, but usually winds up with oddball food. It'll be really mushy, or like pickles you do at the pickles, they get really mushy. These would probably break, become mush. We're trying to get a canned sweet potato fry that we can drain carefully and either bake or fry to have at a meal. What I'm up to now is I've got my hot water in the sink. That pan's full of hot water. I've got my tablespoon here, plain salt. I can put these together. You'll have to wait just a second, because I've got to get the camera on the stand in order to do this, because I'm by myself this morning. Miss Cindy's still sleeping. I got what's left of the potatoes over here for her later on. So not hardly a potato to a jar. Some potatoes are huge, some are not. But if you'd like to see my harvest of sweet potatoes, I'm going to put that up in the corner here. You can go back and watch the video where I actually harvested these potatoes. But let me get the stand and we'll get busy. I've got to add the salt. That's what we're up to. I'll do that over the top. I know some people put sugar in them. I could. I'm trying to leave the sugar off. Trying to just go with the natural sweetness of the potato, because we're going to fry them anyway. They say it loses some of the natural sweetening when you can them. I think it'll be alright as far as what we're doing, but we are raw packing these. Now, I didn't cook these. I know sometimes it tells you to cook them for 15 or 20 minutes and then peel them and cut them up. We're going to raw pack them, hopefully keep fry shape, what we're wanting. I'm going to fill it up with water. I'm probably going to have to readjust the camera for this, because we just have a small kitchen. It's an old house. So bear with me and we'll make some adjustments here. But when we do get them done, they are canning for 90 minutes, because it is quartz. We're going to do the full canning time. We're just not doing the pre-cooking. And we did cut them up smaller than what they claim for just canning sweet potatoes in general, but I think it'll work pretty good. We can white potatoes every year, or as they say around here, arse potatoes. We can our arse potatoes every year, and they do great. You can take them out. They're soft enough you can slice them, break them up if you had to by hand. I mean, they're soft, but they still hold together. Or I'm pretty sure these will too. Well, let me get the camera turned and we'll get back to business. Okay, I've got everything turned a little bit. Maybe you can see. Got my hot water. Use a measuring cup. I'm not measuring it, it's just easier to pour. They pour really good. Some people use a spoon or a ladle. I'm going to fill it up just right at the bottom of the funnel, which is right around 3/4 inch. A little head space. If I get them all filled, I'm going to jar them a little bit. Bounce them around a little bit, make sure everything's settled and get the air bubbles out. And we'll top them off. Full. You don't want to beat them hard. I want to jar them a little bit, make sure there's no air bubbles in the bottom. Use a little, and this one's got too much, so we'll just share a little bit here. And they're still bubbling, so I'll set it back there and let it bubble for a minute. I know some things you can run like a handle of a wooden spoon or something down in there to try to get the air out, but I don't think these will play nice with that. They're turned every direction. I tried to cut them down to the point where they would fit in the jar good and not leave too many air gaps. They're gonna bubble for quite a while. Yeah, I made a mess. I got a towel. I'm good with that. I'm going to continue on with this, and I'll turn the camera back. I got them all full of water. Tablespoon of salt. I've jarred them around. I tried to put the spoon down in it, and yeah, I don't think it made a whole lot of difference. I did have to top some of them off. You can see they bubble a little bit, and they have drops on them. Every one of them's back up where they should be. Get some of this hot water. There ain't nothing really sticky here, so I'm just going to use hot water. Potatoes are pretty dry. They've been in storage for end of August, 1st September, I think, when we pulled them. I'm going to put the caps on them. We're going to put them in the canner. The canner's already been preheated. It's not boiling, but it's hot. That way we keep the heat going on these, because the hot water I put in these has made the jars good and warm. They say not to heat the lids anymore. So these are ball lids. I got lucky and came across some ball lids not too long ago, and I'm using the newest ones. I got several put up, but make sure they're snug but not real tight. We're going to put these in the canner. 90 minutes of 10 pounds of pressure, because we're below 1,000 feet here. I was going to show you. I did get all 7 in there. You got to watch your jars, because if you use Golden Harvest and some of the cheaper jars, they're bigger around. But I got 7 in here easy. They're not, none of them in a bind. I got room to move a little bit. Just a couple of ball jars and your Golden Harvest mixed together will make everything work out well. Well, an hour and a half now, we already know something. I'm going to let one of these jars cool down. We're going to cook them and see what they're like at the end of this video, so hang with us. We'll see how this thing works out. Well, the time is here. They're out. This one has cooled off. This one's got less water in some of them. So I chose it for a trial. We'll see how these things turn out. See if I can do this one-handed. Got a good seal. Kind of a waste of a lid, but we really don't know what we got here. pretty soft. Well, I have to say it ain't a total fail. I knew they'd be soft, and I probably should have waited till the jar had completely cooled off. These was warm. I took them out warm. I was just ready to get this started. Ready to get this video over with. These are deep fried. I mean, they are solid enough you can pick them up, but they're really soft on the inside. They're like mashed potatoes on the inside. Be really good if you can get them out and get them fried. Well, while I was cooking them, I got to thinking about my grandmother. How she loved her sweet potatoes, and she'd buy them little rounds for the store. They come in a meat tray, shrink wrapped just like meat, but they looked like slices of sweet potato. And she'd put them in the skillet and roll them around in butter. And she'd sprinkle a little sugar on them and roll them over. Cook them really slow. So I took half and I put it in the skillet and rolled it around with a little butter. Put some sugar on it, and that's where the dark come from. She was putting the sugar on it to caramelize it, but she done a better job than me. Hers always come out just good and golden brown, you know. Very little black. I got it both ways here. But she'd eat sweet potato for a meal. 2 or 3. 2 of them little rounds is plenty for her. That's really good. The salt was a little strong in it. But with sprinkling a little sugar a couple of times and rolling it over, letting it caramelize, it's really good. These are good. Next time I'll probably cut back on the salt about half. I mean, it ain't bad. I don't want to put sugar in them. Didn't really want to put sugar on that, but I wanted to do the way my grandmother did it. I watched her many mornings cook that for herself. Ain't nobody else that eat it with her, but that's her favorite thing. Not a total fail. Probably need a little tweaking. I changed size a little bit. I think I made them a little bit bigger and made squares. Made them a little easier to get out of the jar. I think I tore them up pretty good getting them out of the jar too, being hot. But it's workable. Makes a good, ready to go meal. I mean, you can eat them right out of the jar. Or you can fry them or deep fry them. Could have baked them. They've been good just to ease them out on a tray and bake them. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give me a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you ain't already subscribed. Y'all have a good week.